1939, the Germans marched into Poland. All schools were closed for the Jewish people. And all the stores were closed. You were not able to go to the store to buy your groceries, things that you need for everyday living. And life was almost impossible to live in Lodz. He was so ahead of his time, my father. He believed the women have to be educated. My father was absolutely brilliant and very giving and loved the three sisters. There were three of us. He loved us very much. So he said, we can't stay in Lodz any longer. And my mother had a family. Her father, her mother, and the whole family, her sisters, live in a small village by the name Żarnów. He said, we have to take our belongings. The sooner we leave, the better. On the way to Żarnów, we were stopped by a German and a Pole. They took all our belongings, confiscated everything. We arrived in Żarnów, we had nothing. So we got into one room. In that one room, we ate, we slept there, and my father was making soap in order to live. And then suddenly there were rumors going around that the Germans are rounding up Jews all around, everywhere. He used to say, I remember, I'm 45 years old now, he says, I live my life, but I want my children to survive. He came with the idea that the only way we can survive is as we can pose as Christians. So, posing as Christians, you had to have some papers. Believe it or not, there was a woman that came quite often to see us from other villages to buy soap and befriended the family. She came in and she said, I have some papers. I went to my priest and asked him for papers from my own daughters. She spoke to my father and told him that he should pick us up and take us to Warsaw, to another city, that nobody knew who we were. At that time, I was almost 15 years old. My father, he says, no matter what happens, no matter who you meet, you cannot trust anybody. Your number is now Wanda Kazusek. When I said goodbye to my father and my mother at that time, I knew that I'll never see him again. I knew this was going to be the last time, because there were rumors going around. We knew they would eventually going to come to the Żarnów and evacuate everybody, and from there they took him directly to Treblinka. No one survived at Treblinka. My father was so devoted to us, and he couldn't stand it when he said goodbye to us too. Mrs. Kazusek, she took us to Warsaw. This woman sacrificed her own life to give me papers from her own daughters, not even telling her husband. Just gave us the papers, not only gave us to us, but took us to her mother, and not even telling her own mother. The three of us stayed together. That's where people became very suspicious in the neighborhood. You know, teenagers. Why aren't you here with your father and your mother? What are you doing here? You must be Jews. She was somebody that I wanted to be. She was intelligent. She came from the aristocracy of Warsaw. She had always big parties and always invited people and always introduced me. And she told me always, Wanda, when the war is going to be over, I want to send you to school. I want to educate you. She was absolutely wonderful to me, and so was her husband, both of them. When I left my apartment building to go to the market to shop, I could see past the Warsaw Ghetto, and I could see the great big brick wall and the people looking out the window, looking at people with such an envy that I am free and they were starving. My heart was beating and breaking for these people. One day I come home and there were one Nazi in uniform and one Pole. The German, the gun, and pointed me at my back. And the Pole started to interrogate me. What is your name? I said, Wanda Kazusek. Where are you from? I said, I'm from Żarnów. I said, why are you here? You know, all these questions. And then asked me, tell me, do you ever go to church? I say, yes, I go to church. How often do you go to church? I go every Sunday. And what do you do when you go to church? I said, I pray. Well, did you ever go to communion? That's what he really got me. He says, get up. Get up. You're a Jew, and you know what happened to Jewish people. You're going to be shot. Get your clothes and come with me. When he said that, she got up. She says, wait a minute. I know this child. She's been working for me for 2 years. I guarantee that she's not Jewish. She convinced him because they thought to themselves, obviously, why would somebody like her keep somebody Jew, because she would be sent to concentration camp too. But then before they left, they told me, we're going to write to your parents. If there's going to be another Vanda Kazusek, we know where to find you. Every time that somebody knocked at the door, I thought they're coming after me. When my sister came and I told her the story, she said, you know what? If I were you, I would leave the place immediately. They're going to come to get you. And I said, you know what? I have no place to go. I'm taking a chance. They were very brave, because how could you fight? These people had no ammunition, that they did their own weapons themselves in the ghetto. When the Warsaw ghetto was burning, the Germans found out that there were some children hiding in the basements, so they burned the basement, and it was the people there, and all night long you could hear screaming and carrying on. And I'm standing there with her, watching the flames, and the three of us, her husband, and I cry because I hear the screaming. And she said, Vanda, why are you crying? I said, because I feel so sorry for them. These people are dying there. She put her arms around me, and the God is the truth, that this is not a lie. I'll never forget this. Vanda, I feel sorry for them as human beings, but as Jews, let them burn. This is this wonderful woman that loved so much. But she said that there was something like somebody would stick a dagger right in my heart. She had everything. Why? Why did she hate? What did they do to her, these people? In that uprising, I was in that uprising. Never revealed to anybody I was Jewish. But I listened to my father, I listened, because that man was so brilliant, and he told me, he never told us anybody. And so what happened is, we were in the uprising, there was no food, people were dying of dysentery. All night long she was stuffing gold in the soaps. Gave me one briefcase, she kept another briefcase. She gave me one fur coat, she wore another fur coat. So we were all going a train. And from that train, you moved to another train to go to Germany. All of a sudden, I noticed people were running the train tracks. I turn around and I see the woman, the wonderful woman, she's on the other side already. Didn't say one word to me. She knows it was an opportunity for her to run. And that gave me courage to run to. So I kept on looking around. And I look around, and every few feet there is a German with a machine gun, not Gestapo, but Wehrmacht with soldiers. He had a good face, and I, please sir, in German, please sir, let me go. I've got my mother living in the city here, please let me go. Oh no, you got to go to Germany, we need people like you. And I kept on bugging him. All of a sudden, a woman stayed next to me, grabbed my hand, said, he's giving you a sign to run. He turned his head around and tells you to run. My father said to me, whenever you're going to be in danger, use a prayer, say a prayer. I said the prayer to myself, and I dropped that briefcase with the gold because it was too heavy. I hold on to the loaf of bread that I had on my arm, say my prayer, and I ran the train tracks, and I was free on the other side. Being outside as a non-Jew, try to pretend that you're somebody else, it was not easy. It was not easy, trust me, to live in fear every single day that you're going to be recognized. It was a truly miracle that I survived what was I being untouched. Thank God. And that's why maybe I'm so happy.